welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a little fall themed DIY. If you haven't yet subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Give this video a big thumbs up and let's get started on this craft project. So today I'm going to be using some of these bundt pans in a project, and we're going to be making some pumpkins. Now, I've seen a lot of different variations of this project being done. I've actually done one of these a long time ago, only using half a bundt pan, but I'm going to be using 2 bundt pans in this one. Now, quickly, let's just go over some of the supplies that you're going to need to do this project. I picked up some napkins. I actually picked up a couple different ones. I think I might do a couple different pumpkins, but I'm going to use these ones in my demonstration here today only because I loved the colors of them. I'm really kind of leaning towards these burgundies and greens and pinks for fall colors this year rather than the typical like orange and brown and stuff. Basically what we're going to be doing is decoupaging these bundt pans. There's all kinds of different materials that you can use to decoupage. Like I said, I'm going to be using napkins, but you can also use wallpapers. You can use wrapping papers. I found these beautiful wrapping papers on Amazon. I've decoupaged a few other things with these wrapping papers. I'm actually working on decoupaging a lot of my older tea tins that I'm going to be using in a storage cabinet that I picked up from a thrift store, and I just kind of wanted it all to coordinate, so that's why instead of having multiple different colored tins, I wanted to decoupage them so that way they kind of all went together nicely visually, since they're going to be out and you're going to be able to see them because they're not hidden away in a drawer. But yes, Amazon has some really pretty wrapping papers that you can use. Now, in addition to the napkins, we are obviously going to need a couple of bundt pans. So I have a couple of vintage aluminum bundt pans. You can find these at thrift stores. You can find them at garage sales. I happen to find a lot of mine at the Goodwill bins. I also have a bunch of them in my Etsy shop. The ones that are in my Etsy shop are a little bit more like collectible ones, so they're a little bit higher priced only because they are vintage and a lot of people collect them for decorating and whatnot. But I do have some in my Etsy shop if you're interested in those. I will put the link below. Now, it doesn't matter if they're the same color or not. I just happened to find 2 that were the same color and they were the exact same shape because we're going to be gluing these together to look like a pumpkin. Okay, so we're going to use 2 of these bundt pans. We're also going to use for decorating, I have this wooden dowel. Now these were wooden legs that came off of a table. There was a set of 4 legs that I had picked up from the Goodwill bins. We cut them into small pieces, so I have a bunch of these. I'm going to list these on my Etsy, so that way if you're looking for just a wooden dowel, I will have some of these on there as well. A little bit of lace, and I have some of this like a crepe type material, but it's this nice pretty ribbon, crepe ribbon, and I did get these on Temu. I ordered a bunch of different crafting supplies on there, so I have 2 different ones of those. Okay, now to put this together, I'm going to be using E6000 and hot glue, and then to do the decoupaging, I'm going to be using some Mod Podge. Now these are the small containers from Dollar Tree. I'm going to use oh, this one is the matte finish. I was actually going to use the gloss finish, but I guess it doesn't matter. We'll just use this one. But I'm going to be mixing this with a little bit of water. All right, so let's get started with this. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to glue these 2 together. So I'm going to take my E6000 and I'm going to go around the edge with my E6000. Now this is going to give you kind of more of a permanent hold. Hot glue would work fine as well, but hot glue, especially if this sits outside and you're in a humid area, hot glue will come undone. If you're not in an area that's humid, or or if you're not putting this outside, then I would say hot glue would be fine. But I want this to be nice and sturdy because it's going to go on my front steps. And I am in Southwest Florida and we get tons of humidity and heat all year round. So, okay, so I've got some E6000 on there. And I'm gonna just take a few little dabs of hot glue just on a couple of the edges, just to help it stick more instantly until the E6000 bonds. Okay, so then let's line up these edges. All right, that looks pretty good. The one thing that you do kind of want to consider when you're picking out your bases or your bundt pans is if you're going to be using a lighter colored paper, such as these napkins, which are kind of translucent, especially when you start Mod Podging with, or especially when you start Decoupaging with them, is that you want your underground color to be, or your base color to be on the lighter side, so that way the base color isn't showing through. So what I would say is to spray paint these in a light colored tone before you do any decoupaging on top of them, so that the color underneath doesn't come through. But this one is all set because it's a nice light color already, so we should be fine. I put a little bit of water in a bowl here, not a whole lot, maybe a couple of tablespoons, and then I'm going to take a good amount of the Mod Podge and put it right in the water. That's why I like these little dollar store ones, because you can use up like half a bottle. And then I'm just mixing this up with a brush. And then we're gonna start decoupaging. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna rip off the stripe at the top, because I don't really want the stripe on there. I just want the floral. And I'm just gonna work in small pieces like this. So we'll take some of our mixture. Decoupaging is super easy. There's no right or wrong way to do it. And I'm just gonna put some of the glue mixture on our pumpkin here. And I'll set our paper right down into it, and just use your brush to kind of brush that paper right down into the glue. You can go ahead and completely saturate it. That's what you want, because you want it to mold right to your pan. And if it breaks or tears at all, that is completely fine, because you can just go over that with another piece of napkin. But you just want it as smooth as possible. I remember I learned how to decoupage when I was in Girl Scouts. I was about 6 years old. I think I must have been in Daisy Scouts or Brownies or something like that. And we did a lot of decoupaging. My aunt was an art teacher, and she was also our Girl Scout leader. And we do a lot of decoupage projects for Girl Scouts. So I learned how to decoupage a long time ago. I feel like decoupage has definitely come back in style. I don't know if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of things kind of come and go in trends, and decoupaging is definitely one of those trends that have come back into being really popular again. That and macrame. Macrame is super popular right now. I'm actually working on a macrame project, trying to make some like macrame dolls for like bookmarks for my journals. So I've seen a few of them done. I've seen a few other people make these macrame dolls online, and I'm trying to kind of put my own spin on it. Now use your fingers too when you're doing this, because you can kind of push the paper down into the cracks and crevices. Well, it's all dry, and you can see top, bottom, inside is all done. So now I'm actually going to use some of this Mod Podge Super High Shine clear acrylic sealer, and I'm going to spray the entire thing with the sealer. You can do another coat of Mod Podge as well if you wanted to paint it on if you didn't have this, but I'm going to go ahead and do that and then let that dry. So here is my Bundt pan pumpkin, all decoupaged. I sprayed it with a coat of the Mod Podge spray and seal in the glossy finish, just to kind of give it a nice sheen and to make it more waterproof. I am now ready to add the stem and a little bit of decorations to it. So again, this is a dowel that came off of a table. We bought just the legs from the Goodwill bins, and then we cut the dowel, or the legs, the spindle legs, down into little pieces like this, and we're going to use it as a stem in the top of the pumpkin here, like that. But I want to decorate it up a little before I go ahead and glue that down. So I did, I had some ribbon that I coffee stained, and it's funny because I didn't mean to coffee stain this. I accidentally dropped it in my coffee, and I'm like, oh, well, I guess the whole thing's getting coffee stained now. So it's coffee stained, which actually I like the color. The color is kind of nice. It's going to go nicely with the beige background. And then I have just some of this fabric ribbon strips. I think this is crepe. I think this is like a crepey material. So we're going to use a couple strips of this kind of mauve color, and then I have another one in like this lighter pink color, because as you can see, there's some lighter pinks and some mauves in this pumpkin. So I'm just going to take a few pieces of this. I don't want a whole lot, but we'll take, I don't know, maybe 16 inches or so of both. And then we're gonna just put them together, and we'll put them together with my ribbon. And I'm gonna go ahead and just tie these around my stem. Probably about, I don't know, maybe about halfway. Let's see here if I can lay this better. So about halfway, about like that, I think. And I'm gonna heat up my hot glue so that I can hot glue this. All right, so I have my hot glue heated up, and I'm gonna take a little bit of hot glue and just put it right underneath the knot here, just to kind of hold that knot in place so that it doesn't slide up and down the stem. All right, now for the stem itself, I'm going to use a combination of the E6000 and the hot glue, only because I want it to be nice and sturdy, just so that it can sit outside if I want to put it out on my lanai. And so I'm just going to do a nice little coating of the E6000 just around the stem portion. And then I'm also going to just do a couple little dabs of hot glue. Mix that right in with it. All right, and we'll take that, and we're gonna stick it right down, set into that little hole. I'm just gonna hold it there for a second. All right, so there is our stem, and we've got our little ribbon pieces kind of just draping off the edge, and that's it. Super easy, very kind of cottagecore, shabby look to it, which I'm loving right now. I love the little lace details, and you could add some leaves in here. You could add some greenery in here as well. Actually, I think I might add some greenery and leaves, but I don't want to glue anything in, because this could be something that you could keep out year round. Really, it's really cute. So thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. Stick around for more videos to come, and we will see you again real soon. Take care.